I'm an ambitious, caring future educator. I wonder what it will be like to have a classroom full of students relying on me one day. I hear the blaring bell signaling the start of another wonderful day of teaching. I see the bright eyes and smile of a child who finally understands a tough subject. I want to create an environment for my students in which they feel comfortable being themselves. I'm an ambitious, caring future educator. I pretend I know everything even though there are some questions I just can't answer. I feel warm inside knowing I have the power to help students succeed. I touch my thick blonde hair as I daydream about the future. I worry about whether I'll survive student teaching. I cry when I feel overwhelmed and doubt myself. I'm an ambitious, caring future educator. I understand that I will never be rich in my profession. I say teaching is the most underappreciated job someone can have. I dream of a nation with a top quality education system. I try to learn as much as possible about being an effective teacher. I hope to one day change lives. I'm an ambitious, caring future educator.
I am from antiques being in every room in the house, dogs running crazy up and down the hallways, the smell of mom's cooking lingering, hunting gear laying on the floor from the night before, and a warm fire always being in the fireplace. I am from horses running through a pasture, pecan trees dropping pecans and limbs every single day, tanks to swim in, and a driveway full of chalk drawings. I am from the Bourne, the Dun, the Wheelock, Bevo the cat, War the horse, Bonnie the dog, Gigi, Pawpaw, Memaw, Big Granday, Little Grandy, and Graham. I am from Use Your Manners. Where do you get your license? A Cracker Jack box? Do you want to go hunting with me in the morning? And where should I put my new antique? I have way too many. I am from baking scotcheroos, ices and candy after school with the grandparents, strawberry milk every morning for breakfast, and lemon bars for treats if you get an A on a test. I am from a pasture with a deer stand hunting with my dad, and the smell of my mom's home-cooked meals every single night.
Now that you know a little bit about us, we'll tell you about the event we chose to focus on.
We chose to focus on the Texas A&M anti-racism event. This event is taking place because of an incident that occurred last February when tourists were insulted with racial comments while walking around the campus touring one afternoon. The goal of the anti-racism group is to raise social awareness among all Aggie students. After the incident that happened in February, the president decided that everyone is now required to take at least 6 hours of cultural credit through either cultural diversity classes or racial courses, but it is unsure when this is going to go into play. At a local level, this would allow students to get involved with the topic of racism. It would allow them to discuss why racism is bad instead of avoiding it completely. At a national or international level, it could impact other universities to follow in the footsteps of Texas A&M into incorporating racism classes into their degree plans. To a group of high school students, you might simply start a conversation by asking them to write down a time in their life when they felt that they encountered racism. Ask them how it affected them personally and how they felt after the situation occurred. You could also discuss that everyone shares the same experiences no matter what the color of our skin is or our race. Also, that when you use racial slurs, it not only hurts that person, but it affects everybody around them. Racism is labeling somebody, and we need to remove the labels. Everyone is the same despite the color of our skin or where we are from.
The two hashtags we chose to focus on are BTHOHate and Hate is Not an Aggie Value. For the BTHOHate hashtag, the purpose is to help stop hate on A&M's campus, to bring attention to the fact that some Aggies are being treated unfairly. It's impactful because tons of A&M students use beat the hell out of whoever every week in support of our Aggie athletes. It impacted me personally because I started thinking about what if everyone who used this hashtag to support our football team also used their voice to speak out against hate on campus. It would definitely make a statement about the unity of our student body. The next hashtag is Hate is Not an Aggie Value. This hashtag became more popular when it was announced that Richard Spencer would be speaking on our campus. For those who don't know, he embodies many things that are completely against an Aggie's core values. He sends a hateful message that no one on this campus wants to hear. The purpose of this hashtag is to make it loud and clear that no Aggie should stand for this hate. Its impact is growing as more people are beginning to use this phrase. It is also used in tweets that show someone speaking out against hate on campus. It impacted me because I was aware of the awful speaker coming to campus, and hashtag hate is not an Aggie value perfectly sums up how our school feels about him being here. The difficulty in discussing racial issues has become a popular topic in our class. White fatigue is a factor when thinking about the number of Aggies who don't vocally support the TAMU anti-racism group. I think many students agree with the message that they are sending but don't like to be involved in conversations regarding race. I also think many Aggies have yet to acknowledge that there is actually a problem. They still see race on the individual level. Many people seem to think, well, if I'm not racist, then I'm good, instead of using their voice to help fight racism on campus. Another example from our reading that can be applied to this topic is social distance. As a university, we want to create a more inclusive space. It would be beneficial to interact with people outside of your own culture in order to open your eyes to new points of view. In other words, decreasing the social distance between you and those you know little about. When you fail to learn about new cultures, you may offend someone through cultural appropriation or by uttering a microaggression that you didn't realize was offensive.
I am undecided on whether or not my views have changed based on this course, because growing up, I was always taught that everybody is the same. It didn't matter the color of their skin or if they were from somewhere around the world. I have never looked at racism the way that we did in this class. I knew it existed, but I guess I just chose not to listen because that's not how I was raised when I was little. From the white fatigue, I learned that growing up, I chose to just ignore racism around me. It's not that I didn't want to talk about it or learn about it. I just decided that since I didn't think that way, I didn't want to look at people that way. I also knew that growing up I was privileged because of the color of my skin, but again, I chose to ignore it because honestly, the color of your skin or where you're from shouldn't matter when it comes to a job or getting into a school. I just, growing up, was taught that everybody was the same, and in the back of my head, still kind of believe that, but my views have been altered a little bit by this course.
I think when I began in this class, I was an open-minded person, but I was unaware of many aspects of multiculturalism. I was definitely in a state where I was against racism on the individual level, but was reluctant to join conversations about institutional racism. As a white person, it was something that had never been an issue in my life directly, so I didn't really know what to say about it. After completing this class, I see how important it is to speak up. I can use the privilege I was born with to advocate for what I believe is right. I am less reluctant to share my input when the conversation involves race. I also think this class will cause me to be a better educator in the future. I am now more aware of the diversity that could be in my classroom. I will be aware of the fact that the system is set up to benefit certain students and restrict others. Overall, I'm glad I was able to grow as a person in this class.